Good morning, everybody. It's me again, your favorite FKK. Just like many other basic programming concepts, a programmer should be aware of various array functions, sometimes called as array methods. And these array methods just simplify a programmer's job. This video talks about the usages of for each function, map function, filter function, find and reduce functions. Let's go further on it. For each is the most common and widely used array method. The main reason for such a popularity for each method is nothing rather than its easiness to learn. Because of the same reason, for each is most popular in beginners. Each and every element in the input array will be processed by the forEach at the rate of one element at a time. As you can see here, the forEach will not return anything back, which means that if we assign a variable for forEach, we will end up in a null object or an object which is undefined. Here is an example, a days array, which consists of each and every day in a week. And we are looping over each and every element with the help of forEach looping function. And you can see here what we are drawing is console.log. What I mean, we are printing each and every days, and you can see that too in the example. This is the same example that we have discussed. It's time to go to the next method, that is map function. The map function is used to make a new array from an existing array, where the element in the output array will be entirely different from the input array. And let's look at it. Here, as like the forEach, each and every element waits for its opportunity to get processed by the function. When the element is processed, the function will return a very new element, which is made using the input element itself. And you can notice that this is an array. That means the output will be an entirely new array, which consists of entirely new elements. Here we can see the hard-coded HTML script on the left hand side, while the same result is generated dynamically using the map function in the JavaScript, which is on the right hand side. Map function is highly useful when the data is dynamic. And this is another example which takes text as input and return back an array of HTML DOM element. You can see it here. Now the filter function. Simply filter out the array elements, and the filter logic is written inside the function. For this illustration, we are demonstrating how to filter the red emojis. Let us see. The input function input array is same like something that we have supplied earlier, and just like all other array methods or array function, filter function also take care about one element at a time. For each loop in the filter function, it will return a true or false boolean, and if it returns a false, it wouldn't get the element in return or the element in back. And if it is a true, we will get the current element in return. At last, we will get a new output array which consists of the same element in the input array, but not every element, only some element which is filtered out. While we look at the example, here we are filtering the days in the week array, days in week array with a date that starts with the letter T. So at the end, we will get a new array which only consists of Tuesday and Thursday. Now the time to look at the find function. and it is quite similar to filter function with one single difference, and that is the find function will stop executing the function whenever it returns a true. Let's see it. We are supplying the same array of emojis here. While demonstrating, you can see that the function stops working whenever it finds the first red emoji. And do you see the function only returns an element and not an array of elements? So find function will return an element, not an array. Sometimes in some other programming languages, it even returns the index only, not even the element. Here, we are making use of the same array that we have already familiar with. If we execute this program, as you know, it will only print Sunday, because Sunday is the first element that starts with letter S, and it is not even taken care about any other days. That means it even don't touch or consider or process the Saturday, the very last element, as you can see, as you have already seen in the previous slide. Another useful array method or array function is reduce. It will only return a part, and these parts join together to form a new element. Reduce function will only return a small part from each element. These parts will join together to form a new element, and in the end we will get a very new result containing all the parts. The reduce function is more useful in cases like calculating the total amount in the cart where items price is separate. While we make use of the same example, here we are using the reduce function to find the total number of letters that is needed to write all the days in a week. We will return the sum of what I mean this specific argument. We will return the sum of row and length of the day in every loop. What we will return in the current loop will be supplied to the first argument in the very next loop. That means that what we are returning here will be supplied here in the very next loop, and at last we will get the last returning element, and it will be here in this specific program. It will be the total number of letters needed to write all these weekdays, and that will be 50. Let's sum up what we have learned here. forEach. forEach is not returning anything, but it is most useful whenever we are unable to use other array methods. And looking to the map function will return an entirely new array which is made using the input array, and filter function, it returns an array of some element. Here, as you know, we have filtered the red, and no elements which is not red is returned back. Filter return an array of some elements from the input array, while the find method is only returning a single element and not going to return an array itself. Find function will stop executing whenever it finds the apt element. Reduce also return a single element, and this single element is the combination of all the input elements. It's a time to try yourself. Have a good day.